How much do you know about Hollywood star Keanu Reeves? Outside of the frame, he's a simple man. He travels around the city on the subway and helps the elderly. And there was tragedy in his life. So what has Keanu Reeves, a giver, a man with a big heart and Hollywood's most popular and talked about persona, been through? He has always loved action, on the crest of a wave, Speed, The Matrix, Constantine, Lord of Darkness. But the cold-blooded and flawless killer John Wick, which he first played at age 50, cemented the actor's status as a cult blockbuster hero. Keanu's childhood can't be called easy. His father leaves the family in 1967, when the boy is only 3 years old. In addition, Keanu faces dyslexia. He has problems with reading and writing, but the general ability to learn remains. Reeves pretends a lot, trying to hide that he is different from his peers. Because of his illness, he does not like to study, but he is fond of hockey and drama. The hockey team nicknames him the Wall. Keanu shows himself to be an excellent goalkeeper. He does not miss a single puck. The prospect of making the Canadian national team opens up in front of him. However, an injury he suffers one day at a competition decides the future actor's fate in his own way. In 5 years, Reeves changed 4 high schools, including acting school, from which he was expelled. At 17 or 18, he left home. And he never graduated from high school. At 20, the future actor moved from Toronto to Los Angeles. While still in school, he attended the theater club, played in the summer and amateur theater. Reeves began his career at the age of 9, appearing in the theatrical production of the musical Damn Yankees. In the early 1980s, he starred in commercials, including one for Coca-Cola. In 1986, the film, Young Blood, was released, where Reeves got the role of a hockey goalie. Personal life and tragedy. Keanu believes that personal life should not be made public. But the relationship with Jennifer Syme fell under the lenses of the cameras. With the girl he met at one of the parties in 1998. A year later, the actor received the happy news that he would become a father. Daughter Reeves and Syme was to be born in January 2000. A week before delivery, the doctor found that the girl's heart was not beating. The baby died in the womb because of a blood clot in the umbilical cord. The couple couldn't cope with their grief and announced their separation. The next year brought another tragedy. Jennifer died in a car accident. Shocked, Keanu buried her next to his daughter. These tragic events broke his heart forever. He never fully recovered. It was unbearable. After the tragedy, Reeves made a social video about the need to wear a seatbelt, believing it could save the life of a loved one. He had to go through another ordeal. In January 2003, his sister Kim was diagnosed with leukemia. They have always been very close, and for the actor, such a turn of events was a crushing blow. At moments of aggravation, he suspended filming in The Matrix and devoted time to the care of his sister. Keanu donated more than $5 million to cancer research. During his sister's battle with cancer, he founded a charity that takes part in cancer research and helps children's hospitals. After 10 years of illness, Kim has recovered. Despite the challenges, he continues to go forward. May 2010, a sad Keanu Reeves sits alone on a bench munching on a sandwich. The paparazzi managed to capture a rather intimate moment in the actor's life, and the world erupted in a wave of compassion. Or rather, first a tsunami of memes, and then compassion. The Matrix is long behind us. There is a lull in his career, girls and friends are not around. Many people perceived Reeves as that, the lonely knight of the sad image. And in 2014 came out the first, John Wick, an action movie about a stylish assassin who took the path of revenge, and suddenly it turned out that this role and Keanu just made for each other. True, the original creator of the film, screenwriter Derek Kolstad, wrote the story of a 60-year-old hitman, and Reeves at that time has not yet reached the half-century anniversary. But in his eyes read enough life experience to be convincing in the proposed image. It took him 30-odd years of film work and a series of personal tragedies. Keanu did not immediately grow up to be an action hero. His choice of his candidacy for the role of Special Agent Jack Traven in Speed, a thriller about a booby-trapped bus, which tries to save the heroine Sandra Bullock, in 1994, caused many questions. After all, this young man at the time was known for his work in comedies, costume and indie dramas. He was tentative on the board, skydiving and proving that he could exude both vulnerability and masculinity, ardor and defenselessness, kindness and stubbornness. Externally, the actor, of course, was far from the usual action type, playing with muscles, like Schwarzenegger and Stallone. But unlike them, he could play on emotion. And so successfully turned up Speed, brought Keanu to a new level of stardom, made him fall in love with the female and the male audience, setting the tone for action movies of the new era. With the growing popularity of the opportunity to choose projects, and he often gravitated toward the sci-fi genre, which he loved since childhood. The not-so-successful Johnny Mnemonic, 1995, and Chain Reaction, 1996, eventually led him to The Matrix, 1999, which was destined to bring about a real cultural revolution. Now it's hard to imagine anyone but Reeves as Neo, the hacker who becomes the savior of an enslaved humanity. But the Wachowskis, looking for an actor for the lead role, first looked in the direction of standard Hollywood macho characters like Tom Cruise, Nicolas Cage and Will Smith. The Matrix, telling about the struggle of people against machines and about parallel realities, operates on many levels. Besides the action itself, there is a place for spiritual strength and philosophy. That's why it needed someone with intelligence in his gaze. And Neo, thanks to Keanu, gained soulfulness and, at the same time, incredible strength. He proved once again that an action star is entitled to feelings. At the same time, in the action scenes the actor just had to be convincing. The sadness in his eyes did not cancel many months of hard physical training. And The Matrix, with him, turned out not just a blockbuster, it shone with many shades. Reeves himself blossomed at the peak of his career. How did the actor become popular? Reeves gained popularity after the films Speed and The Matrix. At the same time, money has never been an end in itself for him. He refused to participate in the filming of the sequel to the movie Speed. And even the promised $11 million did not convince him to change his mind. Instead, he preferred the theatrical production of Hamlet and work in the film Devil's Lawyer. To ensure Al Pacino's participation in the film, Keanu gave $2 million of his $8 million fee. In the age of technology, Matrix has become a cult film for millions of viewers. Reeves gave up most of his fee this time, too, in favor of the team that worked with the project. Reeves felt they were more deserving of recognition. According to rumors, he was supposed to get over $110 million, but he gave away 80 of it to costume designers and special effects specialists, and gave Harley-Davidson motorcycles to 12 stuntmen of the picture. His fortune is estimated at $100 million, but he bought a house only in 2003. Prior to that, Keanu preferred rented houses and hotels. January 31, 2005, Keanu Reeves received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Why Keanu Reeves is a simple man. Reeves can often be seen in the park on a bench or on the subway. And it has spawned many memes. And June 15th is unofficially declared Keanu Reeves Support Day, as a photo of a sad Keanu in the park, where he is alone eating a sandwich on a bench, appeared online. Keanu's incident in 1997 shocked all of Hollywood. He saw a homeless man on the street, decided to sit down and have breakfast with him. The actor bought him a meal and a beer, and he bought himself a coffee. In 2019, when a San Francisco-Los Angeles flight made an emergency landing in the town of Bakersfield, the actor called a bus for his own money to take the travelers to their destination, 160 kilometers to Los Angeles. Along the way, he told them interesting facts about California cities. All the passengers admitted that Reeves was very nice to talk to and did not look like a typical Hollywood star. On the New York subway, he gives way to old ladies. Reeves buys houses and gives them away for use by kindergartens. Together with his friend Gard Hollinger, the actor created the Arch Motorcycle Superbike Company. In 2011, he published the book Ode to Happiness. It's an illustrated book for adults of Reeves' poems. Each page is dedicated to one line, with a simple ink illustration above it. The book reminds us not to wallow in our grief or problems, but to look at life with irony. It could always be worse, the actor reminds us. Sometimes you just have to look back. For Keanu, money means nothing. He prefers to enjoy life rather than worry about his bank account. The actor often walks on the street and is on the subway without security. He does not wear expensive clothes and does not let money rule him. It would seem that losses and tragedies should have embittered and turned Keanu against the world. But he has learned not to blame those around him. Instead, the actor tries to be a positive and generous person. Life teaches us to appreciate what's really important, and you stop wasting a lot of time on useless issues. Every day should be lived as if it were your last. The person who kept me from being happy was myself. Live today. Every difficulty in your life has shaped you into the person you are. Be grateful for the difficulties life presents you. They are what make you stronger. Reeves has a lot of pleasures, too. He is a passionate motorcycle fan, owner of his own company Arch Motorcycle. He can't live without music, and from time to time he acts as a bass player. At one time he played with the bands Dogstar and Becky. In 2011, the actor published a small book called Ode to Happiness, with drawings by Alexandra Grant, where in poetic form he poked fun at his feeling of self-pity. And at the same time and explained to the world that sad Keanu does not exist. Everyone has periods of happiness and periods of sadness, he wrote. I'm a normal person. And in 2013, Reeves decided on the directorial debut. It was a martial arts tape, Master of Tai Chi, about a young master named Tiger. The idea for the film came to the actor still on the set of The Matrix, where he met with stuntman Tiger Chen, who became his teacher and subsequently played a major role in the film. The beginning was well received by audiences and critics, but most importantly, it received praise from John Woo himself. With this film, among other things, Keanu got closer to his roots than ever before. He inherited exotic Chinese Hawaiian genes from his father. Growing up, I was surrounded by Asian culture, art, furniture, food. I remember I was very fond of haiku. I also loved anime and kung fu movies. John Wick brought Reeves back to the screens, his first successful franchise since The Matrix. Critics have both expressed delight, noting the great action scenes and the actor's brilliant acting. His character is so scary and uncompromising that his enemies behind the scenes call him Baba Yaga, but from the very beginning the viewer sees how his soul is wounded. This role concentrates all of Keanu's life and acting experience, loneliness and the ability to control physical power, equanimity and his typical vulnerable masculinity. This is a man who has nothing to lose, who bears the burden of his past, and that burden is common to both the character and the actor. I love my character, I love this story, Keanu Reeves says of the picture. We're opening up the world of John Wick, so audiences who like the film can learn something new about him, introducing him to other characters. The action scenes in it are impressive, but there will be other great and even funny moments. After all, John Wick continues to fight for his life. Keanu Reeves' example shows that anything is possible in life. The main thing is to be able to get back on your feet after a fall. Every obstacle in our way makes a person stronger, more resilient and more confident. Try to enjoy the moment and go forward to success. Be like Keanu Reeves.